Let's talk about some EllieMD acronyms, okay? Familiarize yourself with these. You're going to hear them often. You should be checking your back office. You will hear us talk about these often, so the sooner you familiarize yourself with these terms, with some of these acronyms, the better off you will be. First off is your career title. This is a brand partner's highest rank achieved in a consecutive 12-month cycle. I'm going to immediately go on to this next one, and we'll distinguish the two right here. Your paid as title, a brand partner's current qualifying cycle rank. Your paid title is basically what your paycheck will reflect. You will see it in the numbers. You may lose your paid as title at some point in time. If you hit a certain rank 1 month, 10 months after you hit that rank, for whatever reason business slows and you don't meet the downline volume threshold to maintain that rank, your career title will still display as the highest title you've achieved, but your paid as title will not reflect what it used to be. So maybe change some things up or get back to the roots that got you that initial rank. There's two terms here that I think are the most important that you will hear over and over and over again. The first is PV, personal volume. Now, this is the volume from you and your customers' orders, right? You share your link, somebody clicks on that link, orders a peptide, that is your personal volume. Now, this does not represent the price of the product. I want you to understand that. Your PV is a number that is assigned to a product. It is not necessarily dollar for dollar here, but I don't want that to sway you, or I don't want you to lose interest when you hear that we're not dollar for dollar, because it's just a value associated to a product. Next is your qualifying volume, your QV. This is the volume from partners and their customers in your sponsorship downline. Now, we won't dive too deep into QV here, because when you look in your back office and you see the analytics that you can visually look at, your QV will not be represented. This is mainly a metric that is tracked by the corporate team. Your QV and DV are very similar in a sense, but your qualifying volume, while it does not include your own personal volume, your DV and downline volume, we'll hit next, does include your PV. Now, your PV plus your QV equals your DV. So you may ask, why QV? What's the point of the difference? Now, if we ever go to, say, Canada or Australia or Mexico or anywhere else in the world, they have different currency systems. So we have to have a number that can convert each of those currencies. The corporate team has QV in case we expand. Our QV will be able to basically convert much simpler than, from the dollar to the Canadian dollar or the Australian dollar, or whatever the case may be, whether it's a peso, it doesn't matter. Right now, don't worry about QV. We'll let the corporate team worry about QV. Our main focus will be personal volume and downline volume, okay? I want you to get those in your head. PV, DV, personal volume, downline volume, respectively. Next, your CV, your commissionable volume. Now, this is probably the first place that I see people kind of get a hiccup, or they don't necessarily understand it just by hearing it the first time or watching a video about it the first time. They usually have to watch it 2 or 3 times. If you have to watch this back, by all means, watch it back, but you want to understand your CV. Now, this is 70% of QB, and that is converted QV for commissions earned from the QV. What the heck does that mean? Basically, your downline volume is going to generate revenue for themselves, for the company, and for you, for that matter. When you get to that point in calculating volume, because your PV is very simple, you basically take a percentage of your PV, and that's how you calculate how much you're going to get in commissions. Your QV and your DV requires this commissionable volume. You basically have to run a mathematical equation and take the percentage of the qualifying volume. Then you have to apply it to a downline's personal volume, and that is how you come up with how much money you're going to make off somebody. Now, this is all very confusing for some. Thankfully, it is calculated by the corporate team in the back office, so you don't really have to worry about it too much. But if you're ever unsure about why you got paid something, or you think there may be a mistake, you have to know how to manually calculate how much you should actually be getting paid. So if you ever have to bring it to the corporate team, if you have to submit a support ticket and say, hey, I'm actually short $200, I actually should have made this percent of commissions on this day or this month or this amount of sales. If you have a legitimate argument, then it's probably because you were able to calculate it yourself. I'll give some specific examples here in the future, but that is your CV. Lastly, your MVR, your DV maximum volume rule. This is another one of those spots where people kind of don't necessarily understand it the first time around. Hopefully you'll understand it. This is one of those terms you have to understand when you look at the back office and you're trying to help your people or people in your downline hit certain rank advancements. You have to pay close attention to your MVR and your OVR. We'll touch on OVR here in the near future. Your MVR, though, counts up to 50% of required rank volume from your PV and or any leg you have sponsored QV. This is for ranks advanced brand partner to to advanced executive director. This is also known as a leg cap, a red leg, or unbalanced. The reason for this is basically so you can't just rely on your one superstar to produce all your volume. So if they keep hitting these ranks and they blow your business up, you have to find some other volume elsewhere. People often get this confused with the outside volume rule, but they are two different things. They are similar in a sense to where you have to find volume outside of your one or two rock stars. However, your maximum volume rule lets you count up to 50% of a required rank volume. Now, don't get this confused from the total volume that a downline produces versus the required rank volume. People confuse this a lot. If somebody produces 16,000 volume, they're like, I thought it was 50%. I thought I get 8,000 of that volume. Not necessarily. It depends on your rank. It depends on how much outside volume you have coming from other sources, including your personal volume. We will again go into a specific example of this in the near future, but these are your basic Ellie acronyms, your basic definitions.